Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're going to be talking about the mental side of Wild Rift. So I've definitely made videos in the past on mental, and I mean most of my videos, they end up being redundant in some way, shape, or form because I've talked about various different topics over the course of many years. At this point, I've been making videos for over a year, I suppose, and streaming for over 3. And so if you're a long-time viewer, you definitely would have heard me talk about a lot of these things. I think I maybe made a video about a month ago on a similar topic. And oftentimes I will make these videos based on what's going on in my game. So like, for example, if you look at the time of my stream, the stream only lasted an hour and 40 minutes compared to normal 4 to 5 hours that I stream. The reason for that is because I was tilted and decided to get off early, and that's kind of going to be one of the things that we're going to talk about mental, and just talk about, again, the main things that make your mental better, why mental matters, all these types of things. So starting off, basically mental is essentially just, your mental state during the games that you're playing. Having better mental, being in a better state of mind allows you to play better, be more focused, blame your teammates less, focus more on improving, all these types of things, which of course are extremely valuable, and I would say overall more valuable than an actual understanding of the game, because if you have the proper mindset and the proper mental towards games, then you can easily develop those things. However, you can spam a million games and still never develop the proper idea of the game or understand the game properly if you don't have proper mental, which we can see from the players I'm sure you guys have had in your games who have 1,000 games and are still 49% win rate with 1,000 games per season, or these types of things. So again, that's kind of a pretty long intro, but I do want to talk about that overall. And so what can you do to improve your mental? So the first thing is what I did here, which is if you lose a lot of games in a row and you're in a bad mental state, stop playing. The general rule I give people, I don't follow this because I stream, and as a streamer it's a little different because you have to kind of create content, like it's sort of my job. But generally speaking, if you lose 2 games in a row, I recommend getting off. In this case, I lost 4 games in a row and then I got off. Again, streamer, a little different. But if you lose 2 games, just take a break. You don't have to stop playing the entire day, but take a 10-minute break, take a 5-minute break, go maybe eat, go watch a YouTube video, like whatever it is that relaxes you a bit, just to give yourself a little bit of a mental break. Like, it's truly extremely important, because if you go in, you lose, and then you let that loss affect you in the next loss, you're still thinking about that loss, you're probably not going to play very well. And even if you play well, you're not going to play as well as you could have. So like these games, all 4 of these losses, I was probably the best player on my team in all 4 of the losses, performance-wise. Maybe 3, maybe 1 of the time someone played better than me. And I still lost them all. And that doesn't mean it wasn't my fault, because I could have still carried them harder, because I am the best player on my team. Matchmaking is going to view me as the best player on my team, so I have to play like the best player on my team by far. Like, my MMR, because I'm like 66% win rate, it's going to be way higher. So I kind of have to, again, because of just how it works, I'm going to have to perform super well every game. I'm not just going to be able to play well or play better than average. I have to play really, really well. And that's essentially the thing, is like, even if you're playing well in the games, you're not going to play as well if you're, again, lacking focus, or those types of things. Now, you don't literally have to not play for 5, like take a break just because you lose 2 games in a row always. Like, say you were on say you've been playing for 3 hours and you won every single game, and then you lose 2 games in a row, you're probably still going to be mentally fine. You don't need to take a break. Like, it kind of depends on the context. So like here, this day, I was having a headache, kind of tilted already, pretty tired, like various other things, and then like I'm also losing 4 in a row, so then I'm gonna take a break. Whereas if I'm just losing 4 in a row but I'm pretty fine mentally, I can keep playing. So just evaluating your own mental state and not just like spam tilt queuing is going to be extremely important for playing. But then let's say, okay, you take your 5-10 minute break, you go back into the game, and a lot of times you still will feel tilted if 1 or 2 things go wrong really early. So like, what can you do to specifically stop that? And one of the main things I do is, when I'm taking that 5-10, sometimes 30-40 minute break, whatever it is, I'll actually use that break to, like, say, watch another player or watch back my replay or something. And what I'm looking for there is not to, blame my teammates or to find something they did wrong. What I'm looking for is ultimately something that I can improve on to focus on in the next game. And then when I go into the game, I'll only focus on that. So let's say, hypothetically, you go and watch your favorite Wild Rift YouTuber, Talon WR. He's the GOAT, right? Who doesn't love watching that guy? So you go and you watch him on your 5-10 minute break. And then you watch, one of the videos I make, and one of the videos gives you an idea of something you think you can improve on. Maybe it's something to do with wave management or jungle tracking or whatever. Then going to that next game 10 minutes later, and only think about that. Like, think about just improving your jungle tracking or something, whatever it is. The reason this is important is because now you're not focused on, oh, my Morgana died for the 4th time to a Katarina in 3 minutes. What the hell is she doing? Like, sure, we don't need to focus on that, even though it sucks, and I don't know how that's possible. it happens. You don't have to worry about that because you're way more focused on what you can, improve on, like that specific aspect of the game. So if you have a really specific aspect of the game that you're trying to improve on, then you're not going to be as tilted because you're just not focused on that. So like making sure to take a step back, again, find something to improve on, work on that, and really just focus on that. It's kind of an easy way to again, just not be as tilted. And just in general, when you're in games, like telling yourself verbally or like in your head, verbalizing something like, I'm going to try to be positive this game, or I'm going to it's saying these things actually helps, as like dumb as it kind of sounds, just because it actually makes you have to be aware of it instead of just, oh, you see someone do something dumb and you just react to what's on your screen. And yeah, like basically just that, right? So again, a lot of the main things about mental just come to not spamming games when you feel like you're tilted, just kind of listening to like what you feel like. Again, not queuing up maybe when you had a bad day. Like I talk about this a lot. Like again, like it's not that I didn't have a bad day yesterday. I was just tired because I did a lot, before streaming, and because I was tired, I'm more likely to get tilted. Or again, you have a headache, or you are sick, or whatever. Like these types of things, because generally playing competitive games, like any competitive PvP game, Wild Rift, anything with a rank system, you aren't necessarily, it's not a game you want to play to like relax in, like you play like a story game or like a more casual game to relax. You play like a game like Wild Rift to kind of stimulate your mind. It's more competitive, more engaging. You're, in a way, it'll relax you because it takes your mind off of life or whatever, but like again, you're not wanting to do it when you're already having a shitty day, or maybe play ARAM when you're having a shitty day, like just do something else, because in the long run, sometimes less is more with climbing. Like this day, I went -3 marks, because I got this game you're watching. I lose this game. I get S rating. I think I was like 11-1, and then we lose. And every other game I lost, I was not S rating, so I did not get Fortitude, so I lost 3 marks. And again, like if you end up tilt queuing, you're just gonna end up losing marks, and so there's no real positive to you, like doing that. And you can just feel how you're playing. Like I felt in this day that I wasn't playing as well. Like I could feel it just as I'm playing throughout the games. Like I'm just like, yeah, like I'm just like missing a stupid thing, or I'm going in on a fight that doesn't make sense, or just like I click my buttons wrong a lot more. You just feel that, and you kind of just listen to what you're feeling. And that's kind of the general topic I want to just like talk about with this video. There wasn't really anything super specific. Like I said, a lot of times we're just focused on some type of specific aspect of the game. I'm recording this right after class, trying to think about what other things I can really tell you guys about that relate to mental. I guess the other thing is just like muting chat, right? Like I always talk about this, like I mute chat. I have a lot of people tell me they get pretty annoyed whenever you have a good, because this game is actually a good example, because my ADC, I think he was like 0-4-8 at the end of the game, and I remember I died once, and I'm like mega carrying the game, and then he pings me, and then he pings me throughout the entire game every time he dies and whatever, and it was really funny to me. But because I was tilted, it was tilting. Whereas like it's pretty funny to me if I'm not in a bad mental state, but because I'm kind of tilted there, like it's actually going to frustrate me when people ping and whatever. And so, and like I think I actually typed to him in this game, which is like it's very rare that I ever type, and I think I actually typed to this guy if I remember correctly. And so like you can tell, like if I find myself typing to my teammates, I am tilted. Like I probably type maybe once a week, and half the times when I'm typing, it's to be like, hey, let's group at Baron, because my teammate, like it's not even like flaming them, but like whatever I typed, like I typed it like getting angry. And so again, if you find yourself doing those types of things too, letting other people piss you off, that type of thing, it's definitely going to be a problem as well. And so pretty important, again, just to recognize what it is that you're doing, or if you're playing differently, you feel like you're playing worse, taking a break, all those types of things. So I don't think I have too many other things to talk about. I'm trying to think again, like I pretty much make my videos, I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this, then I just talk about it until I don't have anything to talk about. Not too much more complicated than that. But yeah, I've been just essentially wanted a video to kind of remind you guys of how mental can be pretty important. Talk about some of the ways that I'm able to have good mental, and also acknowledge that like I don't just have perfect mental. Like people, I talk very monotone, and so people think like I'm always calm because I'm talking in a monotone voice, but so that's just like how I talk. So even if I'm angry, my voice is not going to change too much from how I talk. It'll a little bit change, but it's pretty similar. And so people will think like, oh, he's always calm, but I'm not always calm. I do these things to make sure that I'm able to be consistent, and you can be annoyed or tilted but still play consistently well, whereas other people let their tilt like impact their gameplay. So again, like this day the tilt starts impacting my gameplay, I stop playing. Other days, I'm frustrated at my team. I'm still going to play the same way, even if I'm a little annoyed at them or whatever, for the most part. And that's usually really what's important. Like typing to your team, again, that's going to impact your gameplay. Obviously, if you go and you run it down when you get tilted at your teammates and you start dying on purpose, like that's going to impact your gameplay. So if you find those types of things happening, or you just find that you're every second you're looking and thinking, oh, my teammate is doing this and this and this, and you're not worried about your own gameplay, there's probably an issue, just like there was an issue here. So yeah, that will do it for the video. Sorry for rambling. Not really though. That's kind of the entire point of my channel, is just to ramble about nonsense. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.